We're looking at how rural parts of the state are confronting their changing economies and identities. Today, we travel to Boonville and the Anderson Valley in Mendocino County. For outsiders, Boonville used to be a blink-and-you-miss-it spot along a winding Highway 128. Through the years, it's been home to sheep ranchers and apple farmers and marijuana growers. But in recent years, Pinot Noir grapes have put Anderson Valley on the map, and that has some residents worried. Lisa Morehouse has our report.
There's something for everyone at the Mendocino County Fair and Apple Show, held each fall in the town of Boonville. There's a parade, rides for the kids, and 4-H competitions. Many attractions here harken back to the industries that used to define the Anderson Valley. There are old logging and hunting tools on display. There are only 2 commercial apple growers left here, but the big soccer match is still called the Apple Cup. Sheep ranching used to be big here too, and locals pack the bleachers for the sheepdog trials. But at the fair, there's very little sign of what the Anderson Valley's known for now: wine grapes. Today, more than 80 vineyard properties line the Anderson Valley, many planted in the last 15 years.
And you can really see the coastal influence.
Deborah Kahn and her husband moved to the valley in the early 70s when there were just a handful of vineyards.
If you go about 10 miles that way, you'll hit the ocean. And that's an important part of why grapes are so great in the Anderson Valley.
Today, Kahn drives an old 4-wheel drive into her family-run vineyard through forests of Douglas fir, oaks, and redwoods.
It's very cool and very moist, and the redwoods are part of what bring the fog in and retain the fog in the valley.
At the ridge, workers thin vines, picking excess leaves to ward off rot. There have been vineyards in the Anderson Valley for more than a century. Italian immigrants tended grapes in the hills, even making popular sacramental wine during Prohibition.
So let's take a look at the labeling lineup.
Now, there are nearly 3,000 acres of vineyards, many not owned by locals like Kahn, but by large wine corporations located outside the Anderson Valley.
You know, I'm totally thrilled with the young people who are getting into the business in a small way. I'm more disturbed by the large corporate interests who are moving into the valley and not becoming a part of the community.
They've been planting acres and acres of grapes, and the vineyards are starting to touch each other now, you know. They're starting to overlap.
That's Robert Salisbury, or Captain Rainbow as he's known around Boonville. He came to the valley in the 70s as part of the Back to the Land movement, and he sports a graying ponytail. About 10 years ago, he and other concerned residents mapped out vineyards in the valley and who owned what.
We found out over 82% were owned by people who didn't live in the community. The local wineries, I don't have any issues with. If somebody lives here, send their kids to the schools, pays their taxes, takes care of the workers, and cares about this place, well, shoot, I'll drink their wine any day. But these guys from out of town, they're essentially mining the valley.
Rainbow cringes at what he calls the napification of the Anderson Valley. He's a carpenter, and he says he's been hired more and more to build fancy weekend homes.
We're becoming kind of vassals to these guys. We're becoming a service community.
The Anderson Valley was wild and woolly, the funkier, poorer cousin to tourist destinations like Mendocino on the coast. Locals drank at the Bucket of Blood Saloon and spoke their own dialect called Boontling. Old-timer Wes Smoot remembers when sawmills and apple orchards filled the valley before those industries faded. Grapes, he says, made the price of real estate jump.
Right now, there's no housing available for just the middle or low-income type of people. You can't even rent a house here anymore. There's none available, and there's no ground to build it on. Any place there's a place flat enough to build a house on, they plant grapes on it, and they don't want houses on it.